The tongue is a fierce weapon. It's quick, sharp like a sword. It's a fire, and it's full of poison. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, which means even though it can deal a lot of damage, it can also give life. And one of the ways it gives life is by keeping quiet. There's power in that. Let's talk about it. Here are 8 blessings in keeping quiet. Number 1, you hear what's on a person's heart. James 1:19, everyone must be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. We're prone to do the opposite. Quick to speak, slow to hear. Whether we're trying to get a point across or we know where this is going, so let me just jump in, we miss much of what's being said. We definitely miss what they would have said. But if we stay quiet, we learn the value in listening. The Bible tells us that out of the heart, the mouth speaks. If you take time to listen to someone, you get to hear what's on that person's heart. The time to speak will come, but you might be surprised how much a person is willing to open up if you will simply be quiet and take the time to listen. Number 2, you grow in humility. If we always have something to say, if we always need to be heard, we've pretty much made it all about us. Whether we realize it or not, we're saying my input, my opinion, my thinking is more important than anyone else in the conversation. But as believers, we're to regard others as more important than ourselves. We're to walk in humility. We don't know what God may have given them to say. We don't know what choice words they may have to bless us. Maybe it's a hard word we need to hear. Keeping quiet helps us to humble ourselves and understand it's really not about us. Number 3, you become a giver. When we keep quiet and listen, we're giving a gift to the other person. We're saying you matter. What you have to say matters. Whether it's a spouse, a child, someone in the workplace, a neighbor, a stranger you meet in the grocery store. Taking time to listen makes them special in that moment. And in this day when everybody is so busy moving to and fro, you stopping and giving an ear to someone is also a gift of time. What an impression it makes. Your gift, your generosity will be remembered. Number 4, you protect yourself. Proverbs 21:23, he who guards his mouth and his tongue guards his soul from troubles. When you set a guard over your mouth, when you say in a situation, I really want to speak my mind, I've got so much, I'm just going to be quiet. You are guarding your soul. You may not even realize what the fallout would have been from that thing you wanted to say. Proverbs 10:19, when there are many words, transgression is unavoidable. The more we talk, the better the chance that we will sin with our words. Keeping quiet is a form of protection. We need to ask the Lord to help us set a guard over our mouths. Number 5, you walk in obedience. Ephesians 4:29, let no unwholesome word proceed from your mouth, but only such a word as is good for edification, according to the need of the moment, that it may give grace to those who hear. So the main command is, let no unwholesome word proceed from your mouth. And in order for a word to proceed forth, remember, you're supposed to be on guard. In order for that word to proceed forth, it has to be good for edification, fit the need of the moment, and give grace to those who hear. If we don't have a word that fits that description, we keep quiet. We have a victory. We have walked in obedience. Number 6, if you're a wife, you give grace to your husband. As wives, there are times when keeping quiet is a powerful ministry. 1 Peter 3:1-2. In the same way, you wives, be submissive to your own husbands, so that even if any of them are disobedient to the word, they may be won without a word by the behavior of their wives, as they observe your chaste and respectful behavior. Without a word. Without a word. God's power at work in our silence. We don't want our words to make the situation worse. We don't want to be that woman in Proverbs 21:9. It is better to live in a corner of a roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. Those verses in 1 Peter are a promise. Submit to God. Stay silent. Looking to God. Praying to God in the situation, and let Him do the work in our husband's heart. Number 7, when you keep quiet, your light shines bright. Philippians 2:14-15. Do all things without grumbling or disputing, so that you will prove yourselves to be blameless and innocent, children of God above reproach, in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you appear as lights in the world. Every day we could find something to grumble about, right? We don't even have to look that hard. But when we feel that grumbling or disputing rising up and forming on our tongue, and we choose instead to keep quiet, we are shining the light of Jesus. We're showing whose we are. It's a powerful witness. Number 8, you're able to hear the Lord. Even in prayer, there's a time to keep quiet. Our conversation with the Lord ought not be one-sided. We want to hear from Him. We need clarity, direction, comfort, assurance. Whatever it is, it comes from a place of quietness, of listening, hearing that exact verse of scripture you need in that exact moment. Even in conversations with others, if we are slow to speak and get quiet, we get wisdom from the Lord as to what to say. There is so much ministry in keeping quiet, so much blessing, so much protection, so much grace. And it's only by God's grace that we are able to be a blessing and receive blessing in this way. Let's use our tongues for good, for giving life, realizing it often means keeping quiet for the glory of God.